Alright, and hello everybody, and today, and I guess I'll say welcome back. We are here for a WOR console lobby 3 social race around Qatar. Like I said, this is lobby 3. We have a full grid, luckily enough. A few names which you may or may not recognize, but I I'll introduce myself now. My name is Cameron Don. I am part of NLR Racing, Never Last Racing, and today I will be joined by the WOR social media manager and engineer, I think, Ace.
Yes, hello everyone, and that title is actually correct, by the
Okay,
way.
I thought
So
I
don't
got
worry
it.
about that one. Firstly, onto track, it is a Williams. That would be Jesler heading
There we
around
go.
sector one at the moment, just at the end of it, on his lap of this 5.418 kilometer circuit. But as we get onto the first laps, how are you today, Cameron?
I am feeling quite good, luckily. Lucky to have this opportunity, and I thank the like of Luke and Bordon for this because I may not be able to commentate much. So yeah, I'm really happy to be here. What about you? Or let me.
Yeah, happy to be. I mean, I wasn't expecting to be on Comstrike, considering I am in France.
Yeah, it's a bit of a switch up, I'll say that. As Jesler is coming around turn 16 now to be starting his lap time. So he's going to open up the DRS and he's going to be going down the 1.068 kilometer home straight with DRS open, reaching speeds potentially of 200 miles an hour. Round turn 1, he goes and then into turn 2, probably 5th gear, and that is what he does. Then round turn 3, there's a few cars ahead, hopefully he does not get blocked. Round turn 4, a little break, 6th gear, stay sick flat out near enough. Round turn 5, entering sector 2, he has invalidated his lap time, so we're going to ride on board with a man who is behind him, which is VRT Stefan, who is now going round turn 7 in the second sector, 4/5th gear for this corner, round turn 8 and into turn 9, a flat out corner, then round turn 10, ideally 4th gear, and that is what he does it in, and then a little turn 11, then entering sector 3, he's going to do 3 right turns, he nearly gets blocked, round turn 13, turn 12, 13, and 14, and will now make the sharp turn of turn 15, slight lifts. He does it well. He's then going to go around the last corner, turn 16, down to 4th gear, open up the DRS, and then he goes down the short home straight to the line. He will be the first man to set a valid lap time. It will be a 21.8 as drivers will be following behind the likes of the Alfa Romeos starting a lap. We have a Haas of Blunty going provisional P2 with a 22.8 as a load of drivers are coming across the line now to be starting their lap times. We have another Haas of Beller Fox. We have a Alfa Romeo starting a lap. We have an Alpha Tari of Kuno coming across the line with a 23.5 to start his lap times. We then have, that is March, starting a lap at the back of the grid. We then have EP Jordan going into the pit lane. We then have GSR Callum in the pit lane. We have an Alpha Tari of Chris finishing his lap time. What can he do? Never mind, he's starting a lap time. The good old glitch. That is AMS Anthony, I believe, finishing, and he does go provisional pole 21.2. He goes just under 6 tenths clear of Stefan, who currently sits in P2. But now there's a new man in the lead, and that is Nigral. TV8 Nigral goes just under a tenth and a half up on Anthony, we have Greenhorn going provisional P4 with a 22.8. We have Jackstad going P4, beating Greenhorn with a 22.1. We then have, who was that? That was Lifeboat, a 21.9 in the blacked out Mercedes. He will go P4 provisionally with a 21.9 as we see him drive a little bit off track, but it's not causing any bother. As I believe Meister, who is currently sitting in P20, of course not having started a lap, is going to be finishing a lap time. It is quite a slow lap though, but I don't know. You'll definitely improve on that most likely. A 24.2 for him. So there is currently no more people finishing a lap time. We have, I believe, a Williams of Jesler. No, it is Nigel who is going into the pit lane. Lola has invalidated on his lap time and will dive into the pit lane. The Juventus Racing driver. The McLarens are both diving into the pit lane. The Ferrari of Anthony is also diving into the pit lane. So are both Mercedes drivers. So we only currently have 9 people setting valid laps on what they would call the first valid run, the first run which people would do. So it's an interesting start to qualifying, as an Alpine of Stefan is going to be starting, or did he improve? I don't believe he improved. I might be wrong, no. But it does look like he has run out of fuel, yes. And there's an AlphaTauri fast approaching behind him, and that is Kuno on a outlap. I'm trying to see if any of these drivers on main laps. Jesler was the first car to be on a lap, but invalidated his lap time. So we're going to do another ride along with him to see whereabout he might end up. So entering the last 2 corners, 2 right-hand turns, turn 4 and turn 5. He's going to enter sector 2 with a 27.039. He does not invalidate at that corner of turn 6 now. So far, so good for Jesler. Going around turn 7. He keeps the car nice and steady. Round turn 8 into turn 9. Flat out corner. Into turn 10. Down to 4th gear. Flat on the exit. The little turn 11. Entering sector 3. He's going to do 3 right-hand turns, like I said before, turn 12, 13 and 14. Near enough flat out on every single corner, then a little lift for turn 15, normally down to 6th gear, and then into the last corner, turn 16, normally down to 4th, some take it in 5th, Jesler's took it in 4th. He has done well. This is a nice lap. Whereabout can it put him, though, is the question. It's going to be P4, a 21.7. He will go just over 2 tenths behind Stefan, who currently sits in P3. Someone else set a lap, and that is EP Jordan, DHL, a 21.8. He goes provisional P5 behind Jesler by under a tenth, but goes ahead of Lifeboat by just under 2 thousandths of no, not 2 thousandths, 200ths of a second, sorry. See, a load of drivers will be finishing a lap, starting a lap, as it's quite good with this track because it's quite easy to avoid blocking people, because you can just easily go off track or pull to the side of the track, as we can see right along with FGE. I want to say Demi, but I could be wrong because he's got the X in his name, so I'm going to say Demi, but I'm sorry if I've got that wrong, as that is the Red Bulls setting very, very fast lap. BRT Griffiths, that is so hard for me to say, goes P2 with a 21.167, and FRT Dan goes P3, 4 thousandths behind his Red Bull teammate with a 21.171. The Red Bull's doing very well. Griffiths sitting 62 thousandths, or in other words, 600ths behind Nigel, who is in fact going to be starting his second run. It looks like he invalidated what could have been his first run and then backed out and will now be flying again. So round turn 1 he goes. We're going to ride on board with him to see if he can potentially improve on his lap time. He'll want to try extend the gap to Griffiths as much as he possibly can, as FGE Treat goals pole provisionally, of course, with a 20.9 in the Mercedes. A very nice lap time from him. That does put him over a tenth and a half clear of Nigel, who is currently on a lap and only 22 thousandths up in the first sector. But, of course, who knows what he's going to be able to do in the second and the third sector. As he's going to come across the second sector line now, will he be up enough to possibly take provisional pole again? He is just over a tenth up as AMS Anthony came out of nowhere with a 20.7, which now means Nigel has to get maybe around 3 to 4 tenths to get into P1 back where he is. The question is, will he be able to do it? He's going to be coming across the line on the straight, 1.068 kilometers long. He's going to come across the line. He's only going to be able to improve to P2. He will beat Treat as of right now. He does set a 20.910, but Anthony having a brilliant lap. He is, as you can see there, 1 3/4 tenths. Nah, that's wrong. Just under 2 tenths clear. Treat is just over 2 tenths clear. As Lola has set a lap. Sorry that I did not see that, but Lola has went P7 with a 21.6, and a few drivers have set laps. AMS Adrian, currently P9, and a few other drivers as well. Someone is pinging me. Dommy. So, it's not Demi, it's Dommy. Got it. So, a very strong lap from Anthony. So, as everyone enters the pit lane, mostly, there's actually Aston Martin of GSR Callum just finished a lap, 22.1. We'll put him into P14. As nobody, I think, is currently on a lap. As Blunty dives into the pit lane, nearly hits the wall. Harvey has crashed. So bear with me 1 second as I attempt to invite him if my friends list will want to work. Oh, I know, here it is. Don't mind my friends list, people. There we go. So, 4 minutes left in qualifying. A few drivers are out. Actually, EP Jordan is on a lap. I believe this will be his last run. There is no way he'll be able to start another one after this. So, it's full send for Jordan, who is a tenth and a half up already. So, tenth and a half up will put him ahead of Jesler into P8. But if he can improve more, of course, he can get much further up the field, as it is quite compact up until about P6, where there is then a 4/10 gap between P5 and P6 of Dan and Stefan. So, Jordan coming across the second sector line now. Will he be up tremendously? Yes, he will be. He's nearly 5 tenths up on his lap time. This is a very good lap. This will put him in between that gap in P5 and P6. But can he improve more in the third sector to put himself even higher, potentially into the likes of P5, P4, maybe even P3, because of how tight the top of the field is. He goes a bit wide. It's somehow not an invalidation. He's coming home on the straight. He's going to come across the line. Where will it be for Jordan? It's going to be P6. He doesn't improve as much as he possibly could have, but it is an improvement, and it will see him go ahead of Stefan in the Alpine, his Alpine teammate. Unfortunately, he is still nearly 2 tenths behind Dan, who sits in P5. So although that was Jordan's last run, a big lap from him, hopefully we might see him in the top 10, potentially. We'll see with improvements on the last lap, of course. Track conditions will be so much better now, so much more grippier for the drivers. So the last run is you have to send it. It's now or never for most of these drivers, especially the ones like ETA, Chris, and Bellero Fox, who have not set lap times yet. ETA, Chris, actually, I have not saw him out yet. I may be wrong though. So, as we can see, nearly every single driver is out. Actually, every single driver is out on the track. Not a single driver is now in the pit lane. So, who are we going to ride on board with? Well, I can see that there is an AlphaTauri of Kuno starting a lap now. A little bit of connection issues by the looks of things from Kuno, but we will ride on board with him as he is a driver currently on a lap time, one of the only ones on a lap. So, ending the first sector very soon. He has lifted there, which is interesting. He is just under a tenth up. Unfortunately, he needs to be about 4 tenths up to get a extra position. Bear with me as Harvey tries to join again. There we go. Hopefully that... So, Kuno is down on his time, so we're going to try look elsewhere to see if we can find someone on the lap. Like Bellero Fox or ET8 Chris. The field is so bunched up because everyone wanted to start a lap as quick as they possibly could. So, there is a Haas, and that is, I believe, Blunty, who is going to be finishing a lap time. I believe I just saw 1.2 seconds up. This is quite a good lap from Blunty. P6, a very nice lap time, a 1.7 second improvement. That sees him go behind Dan, provisional P6, a very nice lap time from him. Then he is his Haas teammate of Bellor Fox coming across the line. What will he be able to do as Chris has binned it? Bellor Fox goes P4 with a 21.1. Then the Aston Martin of Lola in P10 does not improve. We then have a McLaren of AMS Adrian P10 for him. Anthony decides to go into the pit lane, I believe, and retire as the drivers coming across the line now. Jesler P9, the Mercedes are both coming across the line. Lifeboat goes P7, Treat stays P3. Then we have the Red Bull of Dan also coming across the line. Dan goes P4, he goes ahead of Bellor Fox. Then we have an Alfa Romeo, I believe that is Jackster. No, it's Jackster, yeah, it was P14 for him. Greenhorn does not improve. Neither does GSR Callum. Griffiths does not improve either. And by the looks of things, with that, that is qualifying over. Bear with as I try to send another invite to Harvey as he has had a few internet connections problems. So, Nigral actually, sorry, I did not see that. Nigral went into P2. He did improve. It was not enough though to go ahead of Anthony, who will get pole position from his second run lap. A very nice lap time from him, the Greek driver. So this is the grid for Lobby 3 of WR Social Races on console. We have Anthony getting pole position in the Ferrari by 56 thousandths of a second with a 20.735. We then have TV8 Nigel alongside him, the second driver to be in the .7s. We then jump back to the second row where we see FGE Treat and FRT Dan be lined up together, both within 3/10ths of Anthony. We then have Bella Fox and Griffiths on the third row, Lifeboat and Blunty on the fourth, and Jordan and Jesler on the fifth. And then we have VRT Stefan, Adrian, Lola, Jacksta, Domi, Callum, Kuno, Greenhorn, Marchmeister, and Chris lining up the grid. So it's all going to be with the strategy, I believe, here. The strategy will play quite a big part into what will happen in this race. So, no readying up as of yet, but we will probably see someone ready up soon enough.
That should be me back in now, by the way.
Yes, you are. Nice.
So the only reason I couldn't join is apparently I was still in the lobby.
Oh, so a bit of a glitch then. But yeah, qualifying was a little intense. Chris, wait, okay, we did not get a countdown or anything. It's just instantly jumped to formation lap. Okay, so I don't know that we had a formation lap. Anyway, the tires.
I just got put on to the beta for some reason. I am not kidding.
That's
I go to join
interesting.
the invite and it opens on the beta.
Wow. Okay, so the tires, the top 7 on the hard compound of tires. We then have Blunty in P8, the second Hash driver, the furthest ahead on the grid, is deciding to take a gamble and is going mediums at the start. Then Jordan Jesler on the hards, then Stefan on the mediums, Adrian hards, Lola mediums, then both Alpha Males lining up alongside each other on the hard compound tires. Then Callum in P16, the only driver to be on the soft compound of tires. And then Kuno on mediums, Greenhorn on hards, Marchmeister on mediums, and ET8 Chris starting from the back on the hards. Not being able to set a valid lap time, and he was a little sad how he could not set a lap time, which was valid. But as the drivers come round the 16-turn track for the formation lap, 9 rights and 7 lefts, the 5.418 kilometre long track, we're going to be going for 29. That says you're joined, by the way.
I have. I'm in.
So 29 laps means we're going to be racing for 154.413 kilometres. Doesn't matter, we have 29 laps of the best racing. Well, hopefully the best racing. That's all we hope for in WOR. As the drivers are lining up on the grid, try not get disqualified is the aim for most of these drivers. Only driver right now to be disqualified is Lifeboat, who starts in P7. A few at the back, Jackson P14, Callum in P16, as the final drivers are lining up on the grid. So we're going to go up to the front with Anthony. The Ferrari, v the Williams, v the Mercedes, v the Red Bull. So we're gonna see 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights at Qatar. It's lights out and away we go. Beller Fox gets a drive-through penalty. He goes up into the lead of the race, but the question is, who's going to be the furthest ahead? We're going to see Dan and Treat go side by side for P4 as the other Red Bull of Griffiths is nearly alongside with them. Lifeboat struggling behind, Blunty on the rear of him, looking to try and get past as quick as he possibly can as he's on the medium tyres. It's really unfortunate for Bellafox, who started in P6, but of course got a drive-through penalty. That is Griffiths getting back Treat, but then there is a send further back by Blunty on Lifeboat, who will go side by side with him through turn 7, that is. But Blunty has to back out and will stay P8. He needs to try and get as many positions as he can, use the mediums to his advantage. I'm looking, Anthony is alongside Miller Fox and is ahead, but there is a tap, there is contact, but Anthony does stay in the lead of the race, but there was contact there between Anthony and Beller Fox. Beller Fox kind of pulling alongside, taking some very weird defensive lines as he enters the pit lane to service drive-through. It's now Nigel and Dan are side by side, and that's all because of Beller Fox. What he done has now set Nigel up for a counter-attack from the two Red Bulls of Dan and Griffiths, as Dan is now going to try go alongside with Nigel, but he does stay behind for now, sitting in P3. He doesn't want to do any moves which may compromise his race entirely. Anthony struggling a little bit up at the front as Nigel is catching. As Blunty, of course, is up into P7, he is looking for moves. He's still to get past Lifeboat. Also, the other drivers ahead, like the other Mercedes of Treat, Griffiths, and Dan as well. A few drivers like Stefan up into P9, Lola P10, of course, are also on the mediums, so they want to be trying to do their best to make as many positions as they can. As Anthony is slightly pulling away from Nigel at the back, or at the front, I should say, sorry. As Greenhorn has already gotten a time penalty. He is in P16. Lap 2, we have got the first time penalty. He gets a 3-second for 3 track limit warnings, which I do feel like will be a major issue today for how we might see this range completely change as time penalties. I think it will be a big factor.
Sorry to interrupt you. Lolo has just been spun by, I think that would have been Adrian, going into turn 15.
So, yeah, because Lola was in P10 and now Adrian is in P11, so that is a little unfortunate. Lola now having to work his way up as Stefan is side by side fighting with his teammate of Jordan. You wouldn't want this to be fighting, but it's classic Alpine battling. Just like in real life, there is contact, but Stefan is trying to get ahead as he's on the medium tyres. Does he get ahead? Yes, he does, but he has went slightly wide, and Jordan is still there, but so has Jordan went wide, but it looks like Stefan has got the move done, and yes, he has. So Stefan is up into P8, can now attack Blunty ahead to be the furthest ahead on the medium compound of tyre, although Stefan is 8 tenths out of Blunty, so potentially no DRS for him if he doesn't catch up, that is the question. So, as Lola has also got a time penalty, I see a massive moment from Dommy there. But Lola, the second driver to get a time penalty. I'm looking, Stefan, a second, 1.1 second gap to Blunty. He has to push now, he has to get this DRS. Oh, that could be a warning. He's fully using it. He's used all of his ERS already. Does he get DRS is the question. I do not think he does.
He has not gotten it, and with it only being one DRS zone, it could be very costly here because his teammate is about to go alongside him. Jordan is back up for the lead into P8 as it's still a battle for the lead. Nigel and Anthony side by side going through turn 2, through turn 3 they head down towards the end of sector 1. Anthony is back ahead by a full car length now into the braking zone, keeping ahead of Nigel, who's also under pressure from both Rebels behind. There's a snap over
Oh, there's contact a little bit.
Contact there as well between Anthony and Nigel, as Stefan picks up a 3-second time penalty from the track limits. It's going to be costly round here, considering how bad the track limits are, especially into Sector 3. I think there is a spinning Alfa Romeo down at turn 5 or 6, it is, I can't actually tell.
That is Domi.
It is the hairpin. It'd be turn 6, that is, and I think that was Domi. But the battle for the lead has died down slightly as Treat is closing in a lot on the second Red Bull of Griffiths.
Oh, there's contact and he's gone! Though there's a lot of desync there, and Treat and Griffiths are both round. Griffiths actually managing to stay on track somehow. I do not know what's happened there. But what I was going to say, Blunty got past Lifeboat, but as I was about to say that, Blunty has fallen out of the DRS and just got a 3-second time penalty. Of course, he gained 2 positions from the battling as Anthony and Nigel are fighting the game, but Nigel, I think, has this time actually got the position, but no, he is not. They're going to go side by side again, I believe, but Nigel has kept the position, or has he? Because Anthony is right there on the rear of Nigel. Dan's also getting involved in this. We see a 3-way fight for the lead of the race, but it looks like Nigel has kept the position, and actually now Dan is closer, but Lifeboat's got a 3-second time penalty now, so this is a major issue. His Lifeboat's actually spun. I was riding on board with him. He has spun a little moment out of the hairpin of turn 6. Turn 6, that is. And that will now see him down into P9. He was P5, so that is unfortunate. He does have a time penalty as well, so that will definitely not help him, as he's the likes of Jackster and Chris looking to get overtakes. Chris having a very nice race so far, P20 to P11 for the ET8 driver, who will probably be looking to try get a very good result here today, but of course not being able to set a valid lap is not the greatest, as Treat is actually right up there at rear end of him, as Jack says went off the track majorly. As, oh, that's massive contact between Chris and Treat. I was just talking about those 2 drivers, and it looks like Treat almost nearly took out Chris, but he's managed to save it.
Battle for lead, 3-way fight going through turn 1 and towards turn 2. Anthony has gotten a back ahead and Nigel. Sorry for interrupting you there, but
that's fine.
I would say a battle for the lead a little bit more important than, say, a battle for P12 out of the points.
Yeah.
Considering these 3 at the front as well have no time penalties to their name, so these are for positions. They're all on the hard compounded tyres, so they're looking to run long, hopefully into lap 16, 17, drop onto the mediums, and then get the fastest lap. But considering there is only 1 DRS zone with the detection point just before turn 16, its braking point, you need to be careful where you place your car and when you go for moves, as there's that's an AlphaTauri out, that is a VSC as well, because that is Kuno out on the exit of turn 5. I have no clue what's actually happened there. That doesn't look...
Domi's been involved. Domi has been involved. Domi is slow.
Yeah.
And at the back, I believe somehow there has been an incident.
I would want to say brake checking there, because that did not look like there was any walls near it.
Yeah, it was on a straight, so we will see what has happened. But will the likes of Blunty pit? Blunty has not pit. I would maybe see someone try pit. Lola is pitting. Lola's going to try a early pit stop under the VSC and try take cards until the end, would be my guess.
It is possible.
Yeah, definitely. It's a bit unfortunate with this VSC, because there was a 2-second gap as we're back on the way, and Stefan got a drive-through penalty. So did GSR Callum down in P14, but Stefan get a drive-through penalty, sitting in P8. That is, well, I'm going to say that is very costly, potentially points out of the window already in lap 7, but who knows what he can do in the next 22 laps. He actually has quite a moment, and Lifeboat sneaks ahead up into P8. And may I say, the gap
going over the delta very slightly could be costly. I think Domi has just reset the track.
I mean, he's already at the back, so...
I would say there was no harm in doing it, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at the gaps. Dan has fallen. And is now... Dan has had a mistake somewhere, which we have not saw. And then all of a sudden, Blunty is getting DRS. He's saved his ERS, and will try to look for a move now. We're riding on board with Blunty on the medium compound of tyres. Of course, if a 3-second penalty, Dan goes defensive. There's a fight up ahead for the lead of the race between Nigel and Anthony. Stefan retires in the pit lane, and that's Dan spun round by Blunty. Dan is spun round, slight contact. He's fallen down the grid as we speak. It looks like he's going to come out. He's going to end off in P9. As we saw, Stefan retired as he did get that drive-through time penalty. I guess he didn't want to continue racing after getting a drive-through penalty. He might not see a point.
Hang on, look at the bottle down at the back. I think Callum's just come out of the pits after his drive-through, right alongside his teammate of Lilavia, as well as that Alpine, because Stefan retired in the pit lane. His car will come back out on the track, go right between them.
Oh, that's Marchmeister in the wall. I just saw, and that is Domi retired in the pit lane. So there'll be nothing there for that, thankfully. No safety car or anything. But Blunty is using these medium tyres to his advantage. He is up into P3.
Seems someone's tired.
There was contact with Dan. There's another move for the lead. Anthony and Nigel love switching. There is... What is that?
Street is like, full safety car has been deployed. What has happened there? I want to know.
Has it been a bin in the pit lane? I think it has. I think it's been a bin in the pit lane. Because his track seemed in the middle of the track. Adrian doesn't have a front wing. Okay, that explains something then.
It is a bin in the pit lane, unfortunately for him.
Ah. But Adrian doesn't have a front wing, so something's happened to Adrian. We don't know what. But...
I want to say that it's been contact between Treat and him.
And Treat's went into the wall.
Yeah.
As Lifeboat gets a decent time penalty under the safety car.
Under safety car. Yep, that makes no sense.
And now goes up to 6 seconds. So... Yeah. I'm just looking...
Does anyone take a gamble on the mediums right now? Well, there's only actually one person on... Yeah, Bunty. He is the... Is it Bunty or Bunty? I can't see from this far back. It's Bunty.
Blunty, yeah.
So both Haas are on mediums. Blunty is on 8 lap mode. He's been on them since the start.
Oh, Anthony faked the pit lane. Anthony faked the pit lane entry. Nigel dives into the pit lane. Blunty also decides to go into the pit lane. So Nigel is going to try to take mediums until the end from here. Interesting. Well, actually, everyone is. Everyone is. He isn't the only one taking this gamble. Wait, Blunty's came out on mediums.
Hang on a second.
Blunty.
Jordan is on softs.
Oh, my days. Can we not see that Blunty has went on to mediums? Does he not know that you have to use the medium and the hard compound of tyres? Or at least like pit onto 2 different compounds? Because he's done medium,
so I've just seen, by the way, from Domi, he has been getting major screen freezes, falls. It's like a mix of desync and screen freezes. That is why he has retired.
Oh, we do not like that, I'll say that.
I'll be honest with you, I do not see crossplay getting used in most leagues.
So, yeah, I mean, crossplay is not great right now, to be honest. It's...
No.
There is fix apparently coming out, but do we trust what they say right now? No. even that, I've got the audio bug as well, so that's even better. So I'm not able to ride on board with any drivers now because of the audio bug. So 4 retirements so far. 2 on track, 2 in the pit lane, 1 causing a VSC, 1 causing a safety car, full safety car. So looking at the tyres, Anthony has left himself. Blunty's diving in the game. Blunty's realised that he's made the. Wait, he's overtaken the safety car technically.
It's fine. Pit in. For some reason.
Okay.
You can overtake the safety car if you're in the pit lane, but if you do it on track, then it's all fine.
Interesting, but now Blunty's race, I want to say, is ruined. He's doing a safety. Yeah. He's doing a front wing change.
It's a front wing change. That'd be why. But the only thing I do want to say is the pit lane is not considered part of the track, so that is why you can overtake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So as soon as you hit the entry line, you're considered not on track. Because as soon as you hit the exit line, you're considered on track.
Interesting. Well, you learn something new every day.
Yeah.
So, now looking at this, I think it's Nigral's race to lose, but at the same time, Griffith, even Jordan could contest him, Jeslar, anyone really who is behind. Of course, Anthony's going to try his best to keep the lead, but not pitting and staying on these hard tyres, well, everyone behind you is going to try go mediums for around 19 laps. Is it the right call? I don't think it is, as I've got a very bad audio bug. I'm not even riding on board with the cars, and I'm getting a very bad audio bug. I might have to go 0 sound. I'm unfortunately going to have to turn off sound, because that audio bug is not nice. So we have no sound now, unfortunately, but, you know, tell
we'll make our own sound.
Exactly, tell EA to fix their game. And maybe, or not EA, Codemasters, tell them to fix their game. And then we can do commentating a little bit better.
Well, I would say, unfortunately, that's not going to happen probably. I'm not going to try to go into too much, but have you seen a little glitch where the final contract is before Abu Dhabi?
No, I have not.
Well, it won't matter for now. As we go to the safety car restart, it is a Ferrari sandwich. Anthony leading it, Marchmeister at the back. Who gets the best restart? Anthony has gone. He is already getting up the 5th gear. Who is getting the better restart? It looks like, at the moment, Jordan on the softs behind Griffiths, going for it.
Someone's in the wall.
Will he pull out? I think someone might have been into the wall, but Jordan has tried to dive down the inside, has not made it work, as look at Nigel trying to go on the outside turn 2, not making that work either. He's just having to sit behind. He's trying to go side by side with Anthony down towards turn 4. We head into the braking zone. He's trying to go for switchback. He does it! And it's a perfect switchback there. Has got ahead as well as Jordan up in the podium places, but even with that 3-second time penalty to his name so far. As Griffiths tries to hold on to P4, as Jeslar is also getting alongside him in towards turn 7 and 8. Who is getting as a Ferrari on top of an Alpine?
Oh, that's interesting. A good old bit of desync. We'll love it. But Jordan is up into P2 now because of a little desync with Anthony somehow being inside of Jordan. We don't know what happened there, but anyway, Griffiths is trying to get Anthony in P3. Jeslar behind, also hunting Griffiths down. A very close battle between these three for what would be P4. No, P3.
As Adrian picks up another 3-second time penalty, I think he's up to 9 seconds now. But look at Griffiths' exit. He's already alongside before he enables his overtake and is ahead. He's also bringing Jesler along with him. Is he going to go for the move on the inside turn 1? He's going to head for it.
Lifeboat
but is
as well.
Close enough to do it? He is side by side as well as Lifeboat getting ahead of Anthony. He's falling in the order with these hard compounded tyres, as I think that would have been Greenhorn in the Pillion Wasp seems to have a little bit of damage. Actually, no, he's retiring from the session, so we'll move off that. Up at the battle for the lead, though, Jackster ahead of Anthony. Anthony losing out massively on these hards. I think he's a little bit contact with Chris. I think that might have been an Xbox to PS slight glitch. I think there, because that did not look like what you normally see in some lobbies. But as they all head through down in towards turn 10, who is getting the overtakes done? It looks like Anthony is losing time.
Anthony and Dan made a lot of contact.
Is also picking it up. There is a 4 wide down in towards turn 12 there. The flat right-hander of
Anthony
12,
and Chris.
13, 14. As Chris out of the session, what has just happened there? Is this a safety car or anything?
No, he's retired on track.
It is not.
He retired on track.
Was that on purpose? It was, because that car is moving. But next question is, who's getting the next overtakes? Bellafox is closing in. Nigel, fastest lap in the mediums, 24.158. Look at Bellafox though in towards turn 1, as well as Adrian trying to go on the outside of Anthony. The 2 former teammates, as Anthony is actually an EXR now. He may have AMS in his name, but he's not an AMS driver. Pretty sure they were former teammates, not anymore. He's going to go for it. Down the inside turn 4, he's going to send it down the inside and get ahead. Switchback is not in the cards there. This is the wrong move from Anthony.
But
it is. But he's going for it again on Adrian. Not close enough though. This call to say on the hards is not piling off, as Blunty is actually closing in on Anthony. So you would think this is
is this actually a little bit?
I would say a Ferrari strategy, but he's actually driving Ferrari, so we can call it a Ferrari strategy then.
Yeah. So I'd just like to add this about the Chris incident. Was contact with Anthony. Anthony made contact with him. They were side by side. Chris got spun round. He retired on track and left the session because he was doing well. He was doing well, but then 2 moments of contact with lag and crossplay included. He has left the session and also retired on track, as Dan and Jackster fighting for P6. Dan is ahead and up into P6. We can see the gap at the front, by the way. I don't know if we saw this, but Jordan is not in the second range of Nagrel. He has not been for a few laps. I've been paying attention to this. Well, we have been focusing on other things, as Nagrel is really pushing these medium compounds of tyres, but the question is, does he want to push them as much? Because he does have to go around 19-20 laps on these mediums, and they normally don't go that long. So you want to conserve them, but as of right now, he's pushing them to the limits, as he's now got a 1.4 second gap to Jordan, actually about to be 1.5 near enough. As looking at ERS, Griffiths 15, Jordan's on 5, Nigel's lucky to be on 10. So Jeslar is in a very nice position right now as well when it comes to ERS. He sits in P4 and he is on 45, now 50 actually. His Lifeboat just got another time penalty. He's on 12 seconds and is in P5. Okay, so that is a little bit of a problem as he comes down the straight now.
Anthony has box, by the way, going on to a set of mediums.
Interesting. Yeah, you go.
I'd like you to make a prediction now. Who do you think will have the most time penalties by the end of the race?
Well, that's our Xbox, PlayStation lag. What's just happened there? Griffiths, you'll be able to watch that back on the stream. Griffiths and Jordan were side by side, but then all of a sudden Jordan lagged back by about 2-3 tenths, and then all of a sudden was side by side with Jesler, just because of connection issues.
Yeah, that's not what you want. But yeah, the prediction: most time penalties by the end of this race. Who would it be, and
Easy.
how many?
Lifeboat. Oh, Callum just got a. Yeah, nah, I'm gonna say Lifeboat. He's on 12 right now. I say. Do I say 18? As he's just got a 15. I'm gonna say 21 for Lifeboat. He just cut again. Yeah, 21. Maybe even more for Lifeboat.
Yeah,
that's my Lola.
I was going on to 12 as that is Jackster spun around the exit turn 15. I think that might be just a little bit too early in the power. But you're still looking at the battle of the front. Jesler going down the inside of turn 1, going for it. No EOS for Jordan left, trying to hold it round the outside. Impossible for him to do so there with the traction.
But Lifeboat is there, trying to look for the move. There is contact.
There's a slight bit of contact between Lifeboat and Jordan. Those two PS drivers not having the greatest races so far. The real question is, who is going to have the better race? Is Lifeboat?
Another 3. Okay. Oh, they're glitching. Oh no. What's happening? They're driving inside each other again. Jesler and Jordan. I was riding on board with one of them. This is massive connection issues now.
Yeah, I have it as well, don't worry.
So these 3 fighting for P3. Of course, Jesler just needs to keep it.
Actually Jordan spun behind on the softs.
As I was about to say, Jesler just needs to keep this calm really, because look at the time penalties. Lifeboat has 18, Jordan had 6, of course now spun round, so not much to worry about there as of right now. But we can see Nigral is very fast right now. We can see who might clearly be the race winner here, but who knows, his tyres might decide to puncture themselves, we'll see. But a 2.4 second gap to Griffiths, who is currently in P2. Of course, they're on the medium compound of tyres. Still got 11 laps to go though, so it will be 19 or 20 laps, potentially, on these medium tyres. They don't go that long, so conserving will have to occur soon, as Lifeboat is actually right on the back of Jesler, but a little bit of connection issues. He lost about half a tenth there, but he is trying to get a move set up to try attack Jesler. Of course, Lifeboat has 18 seconds, so I don't know where he will be. But Dan right now is kind of in a field of his own in P5. He's got 2.2 second gap ahead, 4.5 second gap behind. He doesn't have any time penalties, so he will get Lifeboat. He will go into P4, but I think Dan would want a podium. But as we also, I've just noticed this. Can we speak about what looks like might be the top 4? Both Williams and both Red Bull. That is ironic, I would say. I wouldn't say if it's a coincidence or not, but the fact that both Williams are up here and both Red Bull is actually Jesler has went a little wide there. Lifeboat is on the back of him. He might try look for a move. Jordan is in the pit lane. He, of course, was on those soft compounded tyres. Might go on to another set of softs, as Lifeboat's actually got past Jesler. I was talking about that move potentially happening. It has happened, and that is actually Griffiths ahead. Lifeboat, however, having a little snap there. He gets another 3 seconds. He's already on 21 seconds, what I predicted only 2 or 3 laps ago, and there's still 10 laps. I think Lifeboat is maybe going to get disqualified at this rate. I don't know how many time penalties it takes to get disqualified.
30.
But he's going to get disqualified then. I'm sorry. If it's 30, Lifeboat, I think...
It depends on what the penalty is. If it's 3 seconds, 30 seconds is your limit. If you get 10 seconds, it should be 3. And I think
is Lifeboat's round? He spent it.
As he's actually out of the race.
And it's a
full safety car has been deployed. Your prediction is out the window.
Well, technically not. He did end on 21 seconds, if you think about it.
Fair point.
But is it the way he would want to end?
Over,
Oh, Jessler's not going to be able to pit. Oh, he still is. But he's going slow. And that is because, of course, having to double stack. So is Dan. So all of them are in the pit lane. Lola's in P5, actually. Which is quite
I've actually
interesting.
seen Blunty and Adrian go side by side in the pit lane.
Blunt is probably to see one of them. Oh, what is Blunty doing? Blunty shouldn't have done overtaking the pit lane. Unfortunately, it has not worked for him.
Considering every single driver should be pitting.
Can we talk about how Jessler got held up a little bit there? Also, Nigral mediums, Griffiths softs.
Anthony has stayed out.
Oh. Well, he is on newer mediums, and that... Wow, look at the amount of positions he's getting. P6, probably? Yeah. Anthony will be up in P6 ahead of his old teammate Adrian, I think he said there, yeah. Like, no longer AMS. Yeah, so against his old teammate.
If you look on his Discord username, his username is EXR. So unless he is still AMS and just changes like his nickname or something.
Potentially AMS.
But no,
either
I do
AMS
think
or
he
EXR.
is. I'm pretty sure he is EXR because he has an EXR profile picture.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that would make sense then.
As he has just put into the chat, why has everyone got new mediums on?
Everyone has new mediums on because the mediums which, I mean, I can kind of answer this. The mediums which everyone had on would not work.
My controller is just disconnected again.
Oh no, not again.
It's not even dead. I still have one bar of charge left in it and it's just disconnected.
Oh, so this is going to be Subtle, Blunty and Belarus overtaken? Blunty do not go into the rear of Adrian, all I'm saying. Time penalties. Wow, that is interesting. Not a single person is on 3 seconds. Lola, 12. Adrian, 12.
3 with 12.
Oh, Blunty's diving in the pit lane.
Blunty goes into the pit lane. There's 3 with 12, 3 with 6, and 1 with 9. I'm sorry, but Qatar seems like...
Why is Blunty went in the pit lane? Is he going to go softs at the back of the grid?
I don't know.
Or did he get wing damage?
What was the track? What was the track you'd always pick up time penalties at last year?
Last game?
I remember. Mexico, I would say.
There was a load of tracks which you would easily get time.
Imola, Mexico.
Imola, Mexico. What tracks are
because Mexico has the S section, which can be really bad.
I was gonna say Monza, but it would only really be Ascari.
Ascari and Lesmos, I'd say.
Yeah.
But the thing with Victoria, because it has no gravel traps, you're basically running wide everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we saw the time penalties.
Yeah, because if you think of it, Spa, IRL, last year only picked up a single track limit because of the gravel.
Yeah.
So you would think that it'd be better to put gravel back into the...
So, I think this is going to be quite interesting, as we see the top 4, like I was mentioning before. Williams and Red Bull are in the top 4. May I also mention a PlayStation and 3 Xbox. Jessler being the PlayStation and Nigral, Griffiths and Dan being the Xbox. As the safety car is in the slap. So, we're going to see Nigral, who has pretty much led most of this race, fighting with Anthony, switching about the place for the first few laps, then dominating near enough from the safety car restart, the first one. And now he will be controlling the field, and especially his car behind him, the Red Bull of BRT Griffiths, who is on the soft compound tires. Nigral has actually went quite early as the safety car has entered the pit lane. Nigral's is going now. So, Griffiths is there. Nigel's actually been slowed down. He's been limited to the speed which he can get. And Griffiths is there and is in the lead, but so is Jesler, and there is a little bit of contact. Dan is also up into P3. Even Lola is getting involved in the action. Lola and Nigel are going side by side, and Nigel's nearly in the wall. He's in the gravel, and all of a sudden, Nigel's down into P10. He's nearly out of the points already, and now it's